Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw, and I'm here again with a familiar face, Michelle Fee, who's the founder, CEO, and co-owner of Cruise Planners. And we interviewed Michelle earlier this month, but we wanted to get back with her and talk about some of the issues involved in the travel industry right now and what's going on with cruising and also obviously with her membership. Last time we talked to her about all the amazing products and services that Cruise Planners is getting out to their members. But this time we're going to do a little more issue focused. And you're going to find out about all that and more on Insider Travel Report. First of all, Michelle, hello, how are you? I see you're in your office, right?
Well, not really.
Not really. That's your backdrop.
Political backgrounds are really deceiving, aren't they?
Well, that's a pretty good one. That really it blends in well. Sometimes I can't tell, but this one.
We are still home. We are still home. Looking forward to getting back in the office, though.
Okay, well, we are too. Although my office is always here, so that's all right. Let's talk a little bit about. What does the first and second quarter look like for both cruise lines and also for cruise selling agency groups like yours? Obviously, we're still in the midst of this pandemic. We got the vaccine coming out, and we'll talk about that. But what is the first and second quarter looking like? You know what?
There are four things that really excite me right now. One is 2020 is almost over. So that's
it's like I think the date 2020 is going to be excised from our memory after a while.
Right. Skip over that one. So I am really pleased that we've only got a couple more weeks and we're going to turn the corner. And although I think we do have a little bit of a ways to go, at least the worst is behind us, in my opinion.
Right.
I've just read that there's new COVID tests that are going to be available that you can now do right from your home. They're inexpensive at $30. They're 15-minute results, and you administer everything yourself, and they're fast, quick, and cheap. So that's good. We're hopeful that Congress is going to pass another stimulus package soon. So that's the third one. And the fourth one, most importantly, is the vaccine is here.
Yeah, but two different ones with
more. So Pfizer, and then we got Moderna, which hopefully by next week is out on the street. So these are game changers, especially for our industry. This is what we've been waiting for. And I feel like this is going to make people feel so much more safe to travel.
Yeah, but they have to get that vaccine. That's the thing. Or they have to
I agree. But I do believe.
And then the cruise lines themselves, if when they launch, have agreed already to test everybody, right?
Exactly. And, I do believe that once a vaccine becomes more widely accessible and in Q1, that consumer confidence is going to rise. There's no doubt. And my prediction, there will be a wave season, but I don't think the wave season is going to click in like it typically does, like that second week in January. I think it's going to be more late February, maybe even the beginning of March, but it will run longer, April, May time. And again, when that consumer confidence will rise is when the COVID numbers drop.
Right.
And then, I did listen to the news as well, and they are saying that 70% of the population is saying they are going to take the vaccine, and maybe not right away. But they're willing to take it. So that number is significantly up based on the numbers that we even heard just a couple months ago. And I think once the rest of the world opens up and people start seeing other people traveling, things will settle down and those bookings will definitely start to begin.
Well, we're as the morning, this morning, the day we're speaking, Vice President Pence actually was live on TV getting the vaccine, and a lot of other people. More important, Dr. Sanjay Gupta from CNN got the vaccine, and he got it before Pence. So now we're good, right? Now we're good.
We're moving along.
And I have already suggested to a couple of cruise lines that say, well, why don't you just give the vaccine? You get a vaccine before you get on board, like at the pier. Why not? But we'll see if they feel that there's too much liability in that. But I assume right now for first and second quarter, there's really, you hope by February you're going to start seeing the wave season. You said, what about third and fourth quarter? Was a lot of that even booked with the, future cruise credits and things like that?
Absolutely. Most definitely. Q3 and beyond is solid, and 2022 is really looking good.
That's good.
And, I have no doubt it will get better again once the vaccine is widely available. I do feel like the numbers are just going to continue to rise. I always say that people, when they don't know what to do, they do nothing. So I think people are in that nothingness right now. But as soon as they start to hear numbers drop and so on and so forth, that's when people are going to say, okay, it's time. We need to, move forward with our plans, with our lives, right?
Absolutely. When that we obviously we're hoping by the summer it's going to start to feel a little more normal again, and we'll all want to get back to traveling. I mean, you and I, we're going to be traveling probably before then, just because
I'm ready.
We do. Now, given this pandemic year, where are you finding cruisers want to go now? What are the top destinations, looking ahead for next year and beyond for the clients of your members?
So believe it or not, Europe has been consistently at the top of the sales board for the past few months. Big percentage of that has been driven by river cruising, I believe, but it is surpassing the next two most popular, which is Alaska and Caribbean, which shows you people are ready to travel internationally. And what I'm seeing is people are spending more as well, because I believe they weren't able to take a vacation last year. And it makes sense because Caribbean typically books within 5 months and Europe books outside of that. And so it makes sense that we're getting more business on the books for Europe.
Yeah, well, Europe, obviously, and that's a smaller ship. And that was my next question is, what kinds of cruises are clients booking now? You mentioned river cruising might be one reason why they're interested, but what are the kind of cruise segments that they're looking to be bigger sellers right now? I mean, is it larger ships? Is it mid-sized, small ships?
You know what? I honestly feel like it's based on your particular database, because some agents, skew more luxury, others skew, more mass and upward. And so I think it just depends on that. But I do think that there is a thing called revenge spending. And it is a real thing. And
I thought that's just what my ex-wife or my girlfriend would do when I do something wrong. But
well, I'm already doing it just because I hate this pandemic. So, the Amazon packages just keep coming and coming. It's the only way that I can do revenge spending right now. But it is a real thing. And if travel advisors aren't taking advantage of this demand, I think they're leaving money on the table. And I want to give you a little example of this. We did our virtual series, Where to Next? And this is a new landscape for us too, because, who even heard of Zoom before the pandemic? I'd never even used it.
No.
And one thing's for sure, that people are less busy. They're more apt to tune in. So when we first set out for our first event, which I believe was in August, we did the Galapagos, and we booked more in those 2 weeks. In 2 weeks than we did the entire year of 2019 for Galapagos. And so revenge spending is a real thing. I say that, even during the crisis financial crisis in 2008, the last thing people gave up was their vacation. They might have given up going out to dinner as much as they did, or the movies, but they all looked to take a vacation. And maybe they didn't take the Europe vacation, they took the Caribbean vacation, but, we still were booking at a good clip, even in 2008. So there's that revenge spending. So guys, don't feel like you can't go out and ask for business. Get out there and ask for it.
No, that's good advice for travel advisors. Absolutely. Now, from your vantage point, how do you think cruise lines can navigate all these safety protocols that they're installing? I mean, yes, when the vaccine comes in totally, maybe things will change a little bit more. But, obviously right now they're busy addressing all of the CDCs phased in, the phases, I would say, to get back to restarting, and at the same time meet travelers' expectations for a cruise vacation that they have come to know and love.
Right. So I think a lot of it's behind the scenes that, the cruise passenger isn't even going to know about. But from what we're hearing, the passengers are going to have to wear, on the onset of it anyway, wear a mask, social distance. test for COVID prior to boarding. We're not sure about the vaccine at this point in time, not that I've heard of. And this will probably happen up to and maybe through Q3. And obviously this is a moving fluid target, so we're really not sure. But guess what? We're all getting used to it, aren't we?
Well, that's true. We're all dealing with it during our daily lives. So what's going to be so different once we get on board?
So I don't think people are thinking it's that big of a deal because people want to travel. I mean, the funny thing is Royal Caribbean has over 200,000 people that want to go on their test cruise. I don't think we're going to have a hard time filling, the ships at this point in time. And we're seeing it with land sales. The all-inclusive market is going strong. Advisors have to take the supplier lead at that point. So we really don't know exactly what the protocols are going to be. But we will get that information and we will know what's needed to help us navigate and help our customers with the safety protocols. But make no mistake, each and every one of you advisors out there, you are, going to be that diamond for your customer. There's so much they have to know. So I feel like if you're a smart one, you're going to figure it out. You're going to know what you need to know to help your customer have the best vacation ever. So we're telling advisors, get ready because people are going to need travel advisors more now than ever.
Well, certainly there is an awful lot more information to know. You got to know about the destinations you're sending your clients to and
Correct.
what the protocols are to get in, testing regimes, everything else. Every country, save Mexico these days, seems to have a protocol to get in. And you can get in, but you have to have the testing and all this. And so travel advisors need to let their clients know about that.
Exactly.
And obviously, as cruises begin to start again, they're going to have to know what the procedures are going to be for each line to get them on board. So
and I think, all the major cruise lines, they'll drive it. They'll give us the marketing materials and everything we're going to need to pass along to our customers.
Now, this is a little more controversial, but way back, when a lot of travel advisors and cruise sellers and even cruisers felt the CDC first no sail order was I would say unfair is a diplomatic way to call it. I've seen worse descriptions of it, that it was not, compared to the rest of the industry, hotels, resorts, tours, but and airlines. There were not the kind of precautions and protocols that the CDC put in compared to cruise lines, which, in a way, because of the previous dealings with norovirus, they were already doing something similar at CDC, but now here they had coronavirus. And I, too, when I looked at some of the CDC statements, it kind of looked like, somebody's in the CDC who doesn't either understand cruising or doesn't understand that there is some safety protocols. And, of course, we had some unfortunate incidents at the beginning of this whole process. I actually talked to Jan Swartz the other day about that because she was there when Diamond Princess had the outbreak. And so it got a lot of bad publicity because, obviously it's the media, and I'm the media. It's sexier to talk about some disaster with a cruise ship with stranded people and, in their cabins with who are all coming down with coronavirus. So was the CDC's action first on the no sail order affair, and also now this whole framework, which we're waiting. There wasn't an extension of no sail, but there was this framework, which right now is 40, 50 pages or whatever, and it's pretty onerous. But I think cruise lines are trying to address this, right?
Yeah, I for one am a cruise advocate, so of course I believe that the cruise industry was singled out compared to hotels and airlines and all those other types of travel. But you know what, as you actually sit back and think about it, we all want to make sure that when cruising does start up again, the number one focus is on the safety of our customers. And, it pains me because I really believed that we were going to be in the water in December, or that, these little bubble cruises. And we can't wait for cruising to begin. But in my opinion, it needs to be done right, because it could devastate our industry otherwise.
Sure.
Well, I guess although it's hard, and we're all having to dig deep again, waiting those few more months is probably the right thing to do.
No, when it looks like that's how it's going to play out within the vaccine, it's going to be another wrinkle that hopefully will make it go quicker. But now I want to ask some question I asked before, but a little differently. How should travel advisors be selling cruises? Should we really be out there marketing cruises? I know I've had some people talk about, well, it's not ethical to sell travel in this pandemic, and we've seen some of that. And also, are people ready to get that marketing message, that sales message yet? And I don't know what experience your cruise planners advisors have had. And then once you send that marketing message, what are the benefits of cruising that they should really focus on?
So early on, we sent this sensitive marketing out, but I got to tell you, by summertime, we were back to marketing travel. Again, we believed that we were going to be in the water, probably sometime in the fourth quarter, and that didn't happen. But people want something to look forward to. And I don't think we're going to have an issue filling ships because the supply is going to be less. Yeah. And once that cruise line comes out with a real date, I believe the demand is going to return. It's going to return quickly. And, again, travel advisors, get ready for it. What's happening now is the dates keep moving and customers have had to rebook 2 and 3 times. So at this point, I think the customer as well as the travel advisor have decided just to wait it out. And, unless they're booking late 21 or into 22, they're just saying, okay, let's just take our future cruise credit. Let's hold off until we get that specific date. And in the end, the advisors, you just have to communicate with your clients. Like I said, Royal Caribbean's gotten a great response to their test cruising. And surveys are saying that when we turn the year, and we're well into 2022, they think that Americans are going to travel more than in 2019.
Well, certainly 2022 is going to be, we all hope, is going to be a banner year. Right. We just have to wait through the first 3 to 6 months of this coming year, 21, I think, to get through it as the vaccine is made more accessible to the general population. And we start, I don't think everybody has to give up the masks and everything else, and they shouldn't for the next few months or anything like that. But it definitely, as I was hearing Dr. Fauci today saying, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and we just, of course, there's the old joke. Yeah, I see a light at the end of the tunnel. It's the train coming the other way, but that's another story.
No train.
Let's hope that
we've already been hit by that train more than once this year, so I think it's behind us now.
Absolutely. Now, without cruising for a year, how have your advisors kind of pivoted to sell other products? I know I was on your conference and hearing a lot about all-inclusive resort sales. I think I heard that you were one of the top sellers of sandals, and I was rather amazed and impressed. And we've talked about that. So they've sort of started working on all-inclusive resorts, hotels, and tours. Will this shift be permanent? Will your travel advisors sort of no longer be as focused on cruise sales, or is this just more products for their quiver?
So don't let the name fool you, cruise planners, because we have been the number one seller of sandals for a couple years now. And even prior to that, we were in the top 3. So we sell plenty of land with all the land and tour vendors. We're probably in their top 10 as well. But during this pandemic, early on, we decided we needed to shift our marketing to focus on where people could travel to now, because there were so many people that were saying, okay, I know I can't cruise, but I want to get out of town. And again, lots of all-inclusives. In the summer, we were actually marketing RV rentals.
Yeah, I heard that. I thought that's interesting. I know we've actually done some stories on RV rentals, and normally I would maybe not. But this time it seemed like the right product at the right time. Yeah,
we just wanted the phones to ring for our agents. There were people that were traveling via the resorts and the RV, and we just wanted to make sure that if they had the opportunity to earn a commission, we were going to help them do that. And we were focusing on selling cruises, but just farther out, late 21 into 22. But guess what? I believe when cruising returns and people feel safe, cruisers are going to cruise. And all those naysayers that say, I'm never getting on a cruise, they probably never would have gotten on a cruise anyway.
Yeah, so there's no chance your name is going to change to resort planner in the near future.
No. But we've always marketed land. So in every single marketing piece we do. There's nothing that's ever 100% cruise based.
Do you think the mix will kind of stay the same? That you're going to keep the focus on the pedal on tours and resorts, even though you're going to get back to selling cruises as well?
Absolutely.
Now, here's a strange question, but has anything good come out of this pandemic period for the cruise industry and for cruise selling advisors like the ones who are part of Cruise Planners? Are there any silver linings here, any lessons that we've learned?
Well, these are tough lessons. I don't think I ever want to learn a lesson like this again. But I guess if we have to look at some silver lining, I guess, not that cruising didn't have the highest standards, but with all these new protocols, cruises are going to be hands down the cleanest and safest mode of travel, even though I think they were before this. I think one of the silver linings was communicating, and we talked about Zoom and Teams, and it allowed us really not only to stay connected with the consumer, but also our advisors. When you told us that we had to go home and, we have 100 plus employees that we had to move and become virtual without all of this type of technology, I don't know how we would have done it. And we did it seamlessly. I don't think our agents even knew, or even to this day realize that we're still all at home. But it really did allow us to even do like those where to next events.
Right.
How could we have done this and, move the needle and, focused in on different ways to connect with customers. Zoom and Teams have been a definite silver lining and something that we will forever moving forward be part of and use. And I, for one, love the new Royal Caribbean muster drill because that was
we were talking about that the other day. I said, "What do you mean?" I mean, I was like to, if I hadn't seen you on a let's say a christening cruise or something, and we all had to come down, and well, suddenly there you were in your life jacket, and I was in mine. Hey, Michelle, how are you doing? It was like a little social thing.
Or like standing outside. How many times did you stand outside in the heat? And you're like lined up. There's this person you don't even know in front of you and behind you, and you're sweating. And now,
that was the downside. Yeah.
They made it where you can leisurely check in. You don't have to stop your vacation for, 45 minutes to an hour. So I guess that's a cool silver lining, and I'm sure others are going to follow suit. So there's a few.
You're definitely finding some wonderful silver linings, and especially I think in talking about what you have done in terms of really, increasing the output of all the products and services you started offering through this period, and also the communication lines and really opening it up. Obviously,
and it's allowed us to even have that, like we're doing these Zoom meetings with just certain, what we call our STARS group to some of our agents. So we're actually able to communicate with them in small little groups, which has been amazing. We have an advisory board for cruise planners. So it was like you put your advisory board on there and you all feel like you're sitting in the same room. So it's been something that, I wish I took advantage of before all of this. But, here we are.
After. And we talked about your conference that you just held. You had greater attendance than ever before because you don't really have any capacity limits. And
not only that, we were able to, because it was all via, Zoom third party, we were able to tape it and video it. And now it's a live event. And it kind of lives on. So some of the agents who might have worked or missed it or had something to do can kind of click on, or, all those breakouts where you typically can only pick one and there's 7 going on. They can go back and they can do all of them.
Hey, I love that part. For years I had people when I was running conferences or being part of when everybody come up to me and said, can I get a recording of this? And,
right.
I don't know if you remember, but I remember the day when there were services that came out and they'd have the little tapes they would do of all the conferences, and you could buy them afterwards. And I would usually buy all of them, but then unfortunately never listen to any of them. But that's another story, just because I didn't have the time. And now, I will go back and click on different sessions that I'm interested in, as long as it's up there. So it's
a couple silver lines. I think our agents, and I'm sure every agent out there has taken, different courses and learned something new, or, before this agents were saying, I just don't have time. I don't have time. And look, I want to get back to the point where no one has time to do anything but sell travel. So we're working towards that. I do see that happening. Again, the train's behind us. The light is, a brighter day.
Anything else you want to get out to both your cruise planners, advisors, and other advisors out there? Just
thank you to all of you. You guys have, been through a lot. It just felt like at some points in time it was never going to end. And, I, for one, appreciate my agents, as I'm assuming other hosts and franchise models appreciate theirs. You guys have worked really hard this year. Hopefully next year we work just as hard, but we all make money. So hang in there. I think it's around the corner. And just have a great holiday. Take the time, be with family, clear your head. And let's hope sometime in February-ish, March time, we're all into a crazy busy wave season.
Amen. Absolutely. Well, Michelle, thank you for taking the time to speak to us again about all these issues in cruising. You have delivered an extremely optimistic message, and I believe it is going to happen. But I want to thank you again, and happy holidays to you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.